Hello Pinnacle Babies, our future CPAs. Let's discuss auditing first three boards. Para maging efficient yung discussion natin, sinulat ko na yung solutions on the board for auditing practice. For theories naman, sa mga items na maraming tama, didiretso na ako dun sa final answer. For those items naman na maraming nagkamali, yun yung i-expound natin. Okay? Sige, let's go to number 1. Which of the following statements correctly describes the objective of an auditor in an audit of financial statements? So, tingnan natin per choice. Letter A. To prepare the financial statements in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, mali yan because it should be the management yung magpe-prepare ng FS. Letter B, to obtain reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are free from misstatements, whether due to fraud or error in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Okay sana. Ang nagpamali dyan, yung nakalagay na misstatements. Dapat material misstatements. Kasi kapag immaterial misstatements, hindi important sa atin yan. Okay? Letter C, to express an opinion on the fairness of the financial statements in accordance with the PFRS. So, hindi siya PSA. Ang final answer natin is letter D, to provide reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework such as the PFRS. Okay? Number 2, which of the following best describes when an independent auditor is asked to express an opinion in the fair presentation of the financial statements? Punta ka dun sa letter C. The opinion of an independent party is needed because a client may not be objective with respect to its own financial statement. So tayo as auditors, ayun, tayo makakapagbigay ng objective opinion as to the fairness of the financial statements. Number 3, in performing an attestation engagement, a CPA typically, punta ka dun sa letter C, expresses a conclusion or an assertion about some type of subject matter. Okay, that's your attestation engagement. Number 4, which of these comes first? Tingnan natin. Letter A, set the desired level of audit risk during planning yan, planning stage. Letter B, establish the terms of the engagement, preliminary engagement activities. Letter C and letter D, planning. So yung A, C, and D are planning. Siyempre, mas una yung B, establishing the terms of the engagement during preliminary engagement activities. Number 5, which of the following is least likely considered by the auditor in developing the overall audit plan? So tingnan natin class. A, relevant risk and materiality, tama yan. B, involvement of other auditors, tama din yan. Mali yung letter C. Understanding of the accounting internal control systems, alam natin class na doon yan sa understanding internal control na stage. Okay? So after the planning. Letter C for number 5. Letter D is also about planning. Number 6, which of the following statements regarding quality management policies and procedures is incorrect? A, B, and C are correct. Okay? Ang mali dyan yung letter D. Bakit, sir? The policies and procedures adopted by an individual audit firms may vary. Okay? Nakalagay kasi should not vary. May vary. Okay? Depending on the client. Depending sa nature ng client natin. Since there's an applicable PSAs that prescribes the quality management policies and procedures. Letter D is incorrect. Okay? Number 7, which of the following auditor concerns most likely would be so serious that the auditor would conclude that a financial statement audit cannot be performed? Okay, so punta ka dun sa letter D. Okay, there is a substantial risk of management intentionally manipulating accounting records. So basically, yung affected dyan yung integrity of the management. As well as, kung i-manipulate yung accounting records, well, wala tayong makukuhang reliable evidence. Okay, walang magiging basis yung opinion natin. Letter D for number 7. Number 8, to maximize independence, the audit team should report to, saan magre-report yung audit team? CFO, controller, external auditor? Hindi. Dapat dun sa audit committee. Letter D for number 8. Basically, yung audit committee, yan yung members yan, yung board of directors. Okay? Board of directors represent the shareholders. And yung shareholders, basically, dun tayo nagre-report. So, ang representation yan is the audit committee. Okay? Number 9, the auditor is studying internal control policies and procedures within the sales, shipping, and billing subset of the revenue cycle. Which of the following suggests a need for additional testing of controls? Class, kailan tayo magte-test of controls? Kapag effective yung internal controls natin. Tama ba kapag effective yung internal controls, okay, effective internal controls, mababa yung control risk natin. Okay? Pag mababa yung control risk natin, ang gagawin natin, magti-TOC tayo, okay, before tayo mag-substantive testing. Pero in this case, since magti-TOC ka na, mas konti na yung substantive testing natin. Okay? Nakalagay sa number 9, kailan daw tayo mag-additional testing of controls? Magti-TOC ka kapag effective yung internal controls. Saan yung effective internal controls? Punta sa letter B. Internal control over billing and shipping is thought to be strong. Okay? Strong internal controls or effective internal controls, letter B for number 9. Number 10, an auditor is required to obtain a basic understanding of the client's internal control to plan the audit. The auditor may then decide to perform test of controls in all internal controls procedures. Okay, so again, magte-test of controls tayo, punta ka sa letter D. Okay, dog, considered to be strengths for which the auditor desires further reduction in the assessed level of control risk. So again, magti-TOC tayo kapag pag effective internal controls or mababa yung control risk. Kapag nag-TOC ka, mas konti na yung substantive testing natin. For number 10, letter D is our final answer. Number 11, which of the following best describes the purpose of the engagement letter? So sa engagement letter, nandun yung terms of the engagement para malinaw yung usapan to avoid misunderstandings. Letter C, by clearly defining the nature of the engagement, an engagement letter helps to avoid and resolve misunderstandings between the CPA and the client. Number 12, which of the following is not a way in which the auditor uses the concept of overall materiality? So yung overall materiality, ginagamit mo siya sa letter A, planning, letter B, evaluating evidence, and letter C, as a guide for making decisions about the type of opinion. Sir, bakit ginagamit siya sa letter C? Kasi magdidepend kung material or immaterial, doon magdidepend yung opinion natin. Okay? Kung material or immaterial yung misstatements. Okay? Hindi mo ginagamit yung materiality sa letter D. Okay? As a guide for assessing control risk. Letter D for number 12. A, B, and C, ginagamit natin ang materiality level yan. Number 13, which of the following is the best way to compensate for the lack of adequate segregation duties in a small organization? Kapag maliit lang yung company, yung client, ano yung best way para ma-compensate yung lack of segregation duties? Punta ka sa letter D, allowing for greater management involvement and oversight of incompatible duties. For number 13 is letter D. Number 14, when developing the overall strategy for the client, the auditor will, tama ba class, kapag overall strategy during planning stage yan. So tingnan natin, A, deciding whether to accept a new client. Hindi, preliminary engagement activity yan. Letter B, determine if any outside experts will be needed. Actually, yun yung sagot natin. Letter B for number 14, bakit sir? Kapag overall audit strategy, basically nandun yung scope, timing, and direction. Kapag yung direction, ibig sabihin ng direction, yung mga areas sa audit na medyo risky. Okay? So doon natin malalaman if kailangan natin external or outside experts. Yung letter C and letter D, ginagawa mo sila during preliminary engagement activities. Okay? Number 14 is letter B. Number 15, which of the following is not an example of analytical evidence? When you say analytical evidence or procedures, yan yung ratio analysis and mga trend analysis. Letter C, hindi yan analytical evidence. Examine invoices for plant assets. Actually, yung letter C, more of substantive testing yan. Okay? Number 16, which of the following least likely identifies an inherent limitation to internal control? Letter A, letter B, letter C, inherent limitation sila. Ang nagpamali dyan yung class, yung letter D. Bakit sir? An override of internal controls by A, sino yung nag-override? Top management, hindi low-level employees. Okay? Letter D for number 16. Number 17, in response to an increased level of assessed risk of material misstatement, an auditor would generally, tama ba class, kapag mataas yung risk of material misstatement, mataas yung inherent risk and mataas yung control risk. Kasi yung inherent risk and control risk, yung tawag natin dyan, risk of material misstatement. In that case, bababaan natin yung detection risk. Tama? Okay. Now, kapag mababa yung detection, ibig sabihin, mas strict tayo sa pag-audit natin. Ano gagawin mo kapag strict ka? Punta ka dun sa tingnan yung mga choices. A, not make changes. So, mali na yan. Sa nature, time, and extent, hindi. Letter B, increase the emphasis of professional skepticism. Actually, yun yung tama, okay, among the choices. Letter B for number 17. So, kapag strict tayo sa audit, syempre, mas magiging skeptic tayo. Okay? Tingnan natin yung ibang choices. Perform more substantive audit procedures at an interim instead of year-end. Mali yan. Kasi kapag mababa yung detection risk, nature, timing, and extent, yung timing natin sa year-end natin i-perform yung audit. And then, letter D, perform additional tests of controls at an interim. Mali na yan. To eliminate the need for substantive test. So, hindi natin may eliminate yung need for substantive test. Lagi tayong may substantive testing. Okay? It's either madaming itetest or mas konti. Okay? Pero laging may substantive testing. That's why B for number 17. Number 18. Which of the following questions would be inappropriate for an auditor to ask a client when exhibiting an appropriate level of professional skepticism? So, sagot mo dito, class, letter B. Which of your employees is a fraudster? Sobra ka naman dyan, pagka ganyan yung tanong mo. Di ba? So, judge mo naman sa employee agad. So, kapag professional skepticism, neutral lang tayo. Okay? Ang assumption natin, neither honest nor dishonest yung management or yung employees. Okay? Letter B for number 18. Number 19. If differences of opinion arise between the engagement partner and engagement quality management reviewer, then the engagement partner should. Ang best answer dyan sa number 19 is letter A, follow the firm's policies and procedures, okay, for resolving differences of opinion. Number 20, the objective of the system of quality management is or are, number 1, to provide the firm with reasonable assurance, etc. Tama yung number 1. Mali yung number 2 kasi nakalagay to provide the firm with absolute assurance. Alam natin sa audit, walang absolute assurance. Letter A, only statement 1 is correct. 21, the following relates to an entity's internal control. Which statement is true? Okay? Tingnan natin. A, internal control helps an organization eliminate, pagka ganyan yung mga word, ingat kayo dyan, mali yan, eliminate the risk, walang ganun. Letter B, internal control is a process designed to guarantee, hindi tayo nag-guarantee, okay? Letter C, yung sagot natin dyan, yung tama. A deficiency in design of internal controls exists when an existing control is not properly designed so that even the control operates as designed, the control objective would not be met. Tama naman yung letter C, okay? Walang mali dyan. Letter D, effective internal control requires an organization to establish an appropriate structure and clearly defined lines of responsibility and authority where everyone in the organization has equal responsibility. Mali yan. Kapag top management, syempre, mas malaki yung responsibility na than low-level management. Letter C for number 21. Number 22. Which of the following is not one of the underlying principles of effective control environment? Letter A, letter B, and letter C, part yan ng control environment. Okay? Yung elements of internal control. Pero yung letter D, the organization assesses business risks to the achievement of objectives. Risk assessment yan na element of internal controls. Letter D for number 22. Let's go to number 23. Which of the following is not a reason why an auditor obtains an understanding of internal controls? O, tingnan natin. Letter A, understanding the entity's internal control is a requirement. Tama naman, requirement siya. Letter B, the auditor must use the information to assess the risk of material misstatements arising to the lack of internal control. Tama rin yan. Letter C, it is the primary basis for the audit opinion. Mali yan. Okay? Actually, ang primary basis mo sa audit opinion, yung magiging result ng substantive testing natin. Letter C for number 23. Letter D is also correct. Huh? So, 23 is letter C. 24, which statement is true concerning materiality? Ang tama dyan, punta ka dun sa letter C, misstatements are material if they could reasonably be expected to influence the decisions of the users of the FS. For number 24, it's letter C. Mali yung ibang choices. Yung A, materiality guidelines are specifically prescribed by the law. Mali yan. Okay? PSA pwede. Okay? B, materiality is not a useful concept. Again, alam natin useful siya. Letter D, materiality is a concept applied to FS but not to disclosures. So, kasama rin yan. Pati yung i-disclose natin kung material or immaterial. Okay? Number 25, which of the following statements best describes what is meant by setting control risk at high level? So, pag yung control risk mo mataas, okay? Kapag yung effective yung internal controls, mababa yung control risk. Pag ineffective yung internal controls, mataas naman yung control risk. Sabi yan, high level or mataas. So, ibig sabihin, ineffective yung internal controls natin. Number 25, letter C. Number 26, an increase in the risk of material misstatement would lead to which of the following responses? So, tataas yung risk of material misstatement, mataas inherent risk and control risk, ibababa natin yung detection risk. Okay? So, nature, timing, and extent. Yung extent, mas marami tayong itetest. Kaya, number 26, letter A yung sagot natin. Increase in the extent of audit procedures. Letter A. 27, what is the first phase in an audit? Or basically, alin daw dito yung first among the choices. Okay? Understanding the client, understanding internal control, client acceptance or continuance, testing of account balances. So, alam natin, letter C. Client acceptance or continuance. Kasi under preliminary engagement activity yan. For number 27, letter C. Yung testing, substantive testing na yan, yung letter D. Yung A naman, planning stage na yan. Yung letter B naman, internal control stage na yan. Okay? 28, which item is correct concerning the risk of material misstatement? O, tingnan natin yung choices. A, risk of material misstatement arises because audit procedures have been misapplied. Mali yan. Pag sinabi mong risk of material misstatement, inherent risk and control risk. Ito yun. Tama? RMM yun. Risk of material misstatement. Now, yung letter A, audit procedures have been misapplied, detection risk yan. Okay, kaya yan mali. B, risk of material misstatement can be controlled and changed by the auditor, mali, by the client. Letter C, risk of material misstatement must be assessed in non-quantitative terms, hindi, may be assessed. Letter D yung tama dyan. Risk of material misstatement is controllable by the client. Ang pwede naman i-control ni auditor, yung detection risk. Letter D for number 28. Which of the following statements is false for number 29? Inherent risk is directly related to the amount of evidence. Actually, tama yung class. Bakit, sir? Pag mataas yung inherent risk, okay, kailangan mo ibaba yung detection risk. Pag mababa yung detection risk, mas strict tayo sa audit natin. Okay? Yung nature, time, and extent, yung extent, mas marami tayong itetest. Okay? Mas marami yung evidence natin. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pagka tumaas yung inherent risk, tataas din yung evidence. Kaya yung letter A is correct. Okay? B, inherent risk is the susceptibility of the financial statements assuming no internal controls. Yun yung definition of inherent risk. So, tama din yan. Letter C, inherent risk is inversely related to the level of control risk. Walang relationship ang inherent risk and control risk, kaya mali yung number 29. 30, inherent risk and control risk are assessed by the auditor and controlled by the client. Well, dapat siya ay assessed. Tama naman yung letter D. Okay, na-assess siya ni auditor, pero controllable siya by the client. Number 30. While this type of engagement involves the application of audit skills and techniques and the gathering of evidence, it does not ordinarily involve an assessment of accounting internal control systems, test of records, and so on and so forth. Dalawa lang naman yung audit engagements natin. Audit or review, okay? Hindi daw kasama yung mga testing of controls, mga ganyan. Or review na tayo, okay? Letter B for number 30. Kapag review, dalawa lang yung procedures natin. Inquiry and analytical procedures. 31. Which of the following most accurately describes the process of walkthrough? O, alam natin yung walkthrough, letter D, following a transaction from its origination until it is reflected in the financial statement. So basically, trace natin yung transaction all throughout the process. Okay, ang tawag natin dyan is walkthrough. Number 32, which of the following statements correctly defines the term reasonable assurance? Okay, tingnan natin yung choices. A, a substantial level of assurance. B, significant level of assurance. C, absolute level. Alam natin, mali na yung absolute level. Actually, ang best answer here is letter D, a high but not absolute level of assurance. Letter D for number 32. Number 33, which of the following situations represents a limitation rather than a failure of internal control? Tingnan natin class. Yung A, B, and D, lahat yan failure. Okay? So, letter C, yung limitation. Bakit, sir? Letter C, a purchasing employee and an outside vendor participate in a kickback scheme. Ano tawag natin dyan? Collusion. And collusion is one of the limitations of internal control. Letter C for number 33. 34, which of the following is a correct relationship? Audit risk and detection risk have an inverse relationship. Mali yan kasi alam natin, audit risk formula, audit risk is equal to inherent risk times control risk times detection risk. So, ibig sabihin, si audit risk and, ano sabi dyan? Detection risk. Pag tumaas si detection risk, tataas si audit risk mo. So, direct relationship yan. Control risk and detection risk have an inverse relationship. Letter C, letter C, detection risk and inherent risk have an inverse relationship. Tama yan. Kapag shuffle mo siya, detection risk is equal to audit risk over inherent risk times control risk. Okay? So, meron silang inverse relationship. For number 34, ang correct dyan is letter C. Yung letter D, inherent risk and control risk have a direct relationship. Mali, again, walang relationship yung dalawa na yan. 35, the reliance placed on substantive tests in relation to the reliance placed on internal control varies in relationship that is ordinarily inverse yan. Bakit, sir? Kapag effective yung internal controls, okay, mas konti yung substantive testing natin. Okay, meron silang inverse relationship. Number 35, letter B. 36, which of the following situations will normally result to a decrease in the extent of audit procedures? Tingnan natin. So, letter A, increase in the risk of material misstatement. Well, kapag mataas yung risk of material misstatement, mababa yung detection risk. Pag mababa yung detection risk, mas strict tayo, mas marami tayong evidence na i-gather or mga transactions na i-test. So, nakalagay yan sa question, decrease daw. Hindi, mali, increase yan. Okay? Letter B, increase in the degree of assurance the auditor plans to obtain. Siyempre, pag gusto natin, mas mataas yung assurance sa pag-audit natin, mas marami tayong transaction na i-test. So, increase din yan. Letter C, increase in control risk assessment. Pag mataas yung control risk, mababa detection risk. Mas marami tayong evidence dapat na mag-gather. Letter D yung tama dyan. Okay? Increase in materiality level. Pag nag-increase yung materiality level natin, mas kokonti yung papasok sa threshold. Therefore, konti yung maitetest natin. Okay? Decrease yan. Letter D for number 36. 37. Which of the following control objectives is of least concern for auditors of financial statements? Okay, actually, punta ka dun sa letter C, okay, for number 37. Customer orders are subject to approval by the warehouse department after checking the availability of goods being ordered by the customer. So if you remember yung transaction cycles natin, yung flow chart, okay? Pag may nag-order na customer, titignan mo ni credit department kung credit worthy ba si customer, kung nagbabayad ba siya historically. Wala dun sa flow chart natin na titingnan pa ni warehouse department kung meron tayong goods. Okay? So letter C, yung least concern sa atin for number 37. 38, an auditor should design the audit plan so that, okay, audit plan, punta ka dun sa letter C. The audit procedure selected will achieve specific audit objectives. Alam natin, class, kapag audit plan, nandyan yung objectives natin, which are yung financial statement assertions, nandyan yung procedures natin to reach those objectives. Okay? Yun yung audit plan natin. Number 39, which of the following characteristics most likely would heighten an auditor's concern about the risk of material misstatement arising from fraudulent financial reporting? Letter C, yung best answer dyan. Management had frequent disputes with the auditor on accounting matters. So, pag lagi merong disagreement si auditor and si management as to accounting treatment or mga accounting estimates, ayun, baka yung meron tayong mas mataas yung risk of material misstatement natin. Letter C for number 39. Number 40, an auditor assesses control risk because it, punta ka sa letter D, affects the level of detection risk that the auditor may accept. Okay? So again, 40, letter D. So meron tayong control risk muna, and then based on that, doon natin nisiset yung level of detection risk natin na merong effect doon sa nature, time, and extent of audit procedures. Number 41, one purpose of establishing quality control policies and procedures for acceptance and continuance of client relationship, again, yung integrity of the management. Letter A, undertake engagements only that the accounting firm is competent. So, integrity, wala namang integrity dun sa choices. Second, titingnan natin if kaya ba nating i-perform, okay, competently yung service to the client. Letter A for number 41. Sige, number 42, which of the following is a step in an auditor's decision to assess control risk at below maximum? So, mababa yung control risk. Tingnan natin. A, apply analytical procedures to both financial data and non-financial information to detect conditions that may indicate weak controls. Okay, perform test of details of transactions. Punta ka sa letter C. Identify specific internal controls, policies and procedures that are likely to detect or prevent material misstatements. Ano ibig sabihin yan, sir? Pag daw mababa yung control risk, okay, pag mababa yung control risk natin, magte-test of controls tayo. Ano yung mga ite-test natin? Yung mga controls na plan natin na mag-rely. Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng letter C. Identify specific control policies and procedures. Yun yung mga internal controls that we are planning to rely on during our test of controls. Letter C for number 42. Number 43, which of the following statements most likely would be included in an engagement letter from an auditor to a client? Sa engagement letter, punta ka dun sa, actually, tingnan natin yung mga choices. Letter A, the CPA firm will provide absolute assurance. Mali agad yun. Letter B, the CPA firm is responsible for ensuring that the client complies with applicable laws. Mali yun. Yung compliance with the laws and regulations, si client yung bahala dyan. Siya yung may responsibility dyan. Letter C yung tama dyan. The CPA firm will involve information technology specialists in the performance of the audit. So during sa engagement letter, i-indicate natin doon, baka mayroon tayong need for outside experts. Ayun, yun yung letter C. Okay, 43, letter C. Letter D, the CPA firm will adjust the financial statements to correct misstatements. Hindi. Ang nag-a-adjust ay si management. Tayo, yung mga auditors, nagpo-propose na tayo ng adjustments to the management. Siya yung bahala mag-adjust. Okay? Letter C for number 43. 44. In which of the following order would the auditors perform the following steps? Actually, yung tamang order dito is letter B. Set mo na yung materiality, determine the audit risk, assess control risk, and determine detection risk. 44, letter B. 45, GAAs and PSAs should be looked upon by practitioner as, is it maximum or minimum standards? Minimum standards. Okay, minimum standards of performance which must be achieved on each audit engagement. For number 45, letter C. So, to ensure na of high quality yung magiging audit natin. Number 46, if the auditor sets the preliminary judgment about materiality level at a low peso amount, pag mababa yung materiality, mas maraming papasok dun sa materiality threshold, mas marami tayong maititest na transactions, mas maraming evidence. Letter C, more evidence will be required than for a high level. Okay, number 47. The concept of reasonable assurance implies that an auditor, reasonable assurance, punta dun sa letter C, does not guarantee the accuracy of the financial statements. Kasi pag nag-guarantee ka, absolute assurance na yun. Okay, number 48. Which of the following procedures should an accountant perform during an engagement to compile prospective financial statements? Tingnan natin, compilation. A. Test the entity's internal controls. Hindi. Nag-TOC ka kapag audit. Letter B. Make inquiries. Letter C. Actually, C yung pinakatama dyan. Make inquiries about the accounting principles used in the preparation of the prospective financial statements. So again, pag compilation, nagpe-prepare tayo ng financial statements, okay? Pero non-assurance engagement yan, alright? So letter D, compare prospective financial statements, hindi natin ginagawa yan during compilation. For 48, letter C yan. Number 49, which of the following is least likely to be included in an agreed upon procedures? So sa agreed upon procedures, ano yung nilalagay natin dun sa report? A, nilalagay natin dyan. The engaging party takes responsibility. Letter B, yung restriction of the report. Letter C, wala yan. Limited assurance. Again, agreed upon procedure is a non-assurance engagement. So, mali yung limited assurance. Summary procedures, yes, kasama yan. 49, letter C. Number 50, which of the following control procedures will likely prevent the concealment of a cash shortage that was perpetrated by improperly writing off a trade accounts receivable? Among the choices, ang tama dyan, class, ang best answer is letter B for number 50. Bakit, sir? Write-off must be approved by a responsible officer after reviewing the credit department's recommendations and supporting evidence. So, si credit department, siya yung nag-a-assess ng creditworthiness ng customer. Siya din yung nag-a-assess if i-write off na ba natin yung AR. So, in that case, ma-avoid natin yung cash shortage due to improper write-off. Okay? For number 50, letter B. 51, assessing control risk at low level most likely would involve, so, tingnan natin class, kapag yung control risk mo is low level, okay, baba yung control risk, so, baba yung control risk, pwede natin itaas yung detection risk. Pagka mataas yung detection risk natin, ibig sabihin, pwedeng mas lenient tayo sa pag-audit, okay, so, mas lenient tayo, tingnan natin yung effect niyan. A, perform more extensive substantive test. Mali yun. Kasi kapag mataas yung detection risk natin, nature, time, and extent, nature less persuasive, yung timing natin, interim, yung extent natin, mas mababa yung sample size or mas konti yung transactions na iti-test natin. B, reducing inherent risk. For most of the assertions, hindi yan. Hindi yan related sa inherent risk. Letter C, change the time of substantive test by omitting interim and performing year-end. Mali. Kapag mataas yung detection risk, pwede natin i-perform at interim yung audit natin. Letter D yan, okay? Identifying specific controls relevant to specific assertions. Ano ibig sabihin, sir? Pag mababa yung control risk natin, ibig sabihin, pwede tayong mag-rely sa internal controls. Mag-perform tayo ng TOC. Pag mag-perform ng TOC, identify mo yung specific controls na magre-rely tayo. For number 51, letter D. Number 52, a requirement that working papers be reviewed by the supervisor and any deficiencies be discussed with the preparer is an example of quality management procedure in the area of, ang pinakamalapit dito class is letter B, engagement performance. 53, which of the following statements applies to consulting services engagements? Kapag consulting, non-assurance engagement yan. So, tingnan natin. A practitioner should obtain an understanding of the internal control. Mali yan. Hindi tayo nag-TTOC or understanding internal controls kapag non-assurance engagement. Letter B and letter C naman, not permitted to compile. Actually, pwede yan. Kasi yung compilation and consulting, pareho non-assurance. So, pwede mong i-render yan ng sabay sa same client. Letter C, maintain independence. Hindi mo kailangan mag-independent kapag non-assurance. Letter D yung sagot dyan. A practitioner should obtain sufficient relevant data to complete the engagement. Letter D for number 53. 54. Which of the following is the best explanation of the difference, if any, between audit objectives and audit procedures? Punta ka sa letter C. Audit objectives define specific desired accomplishments, while your audit procedures provide the means of achieving audit objectives. 55. The auditor should perform test of controls or TOC when the auditor's risk assessment includes an expectation. Pag TOC, operating effectiveness na yan. Letter C for number 55. 56. An auditor has identified the controller's review of the bank reconciliation as a control to test. In connection with this test, the auditor interviews, the controller to understand the specific data reviewed on the reconciliation. In addition, the auditor verifies the bank reconciliation which of the following types of audit procedures do these actions illustrate? Nung nag-interview tayo, more of inquiry yan. Okay? Yung sa bank reconciliation, verify natin, more of inspection yan. Okay? Letter C for number 56. 57. When approached to perform an audit for the first time, the CPA should make inquiries of the predecessor auditor. This is a necessary procedure because the predecessor may be able to provide the successor with information that will assist the successor in determining preliminary engagement activity, continuance or acceptance of client relationship. Letter D, whether the engagement should be accepted. Letter D for number 57. 58. Which of the following best describes the responsibility of the CPA in performing compilation services? Punta ka dun sa letter A. The CPA must understand the client's business and accounting records and read the financial statements for reasonableness. Okay? Letter A for number 58. Number 59. As the acceptable level of detection risk decreases, an auditor may, so kapag mababa yung detection risk natin, ibig sabihin, strict tayo sa pag-audit. Nature, timing, and extent. Nature, more persuasive. Timing, year-end. Extent, larger sample size. Okay? So, ano yung consistent dyan? Punta ka dun sa letter B. Postpone the planned timing of substantive test from interim to year-end. Letter B for number 59. 60. Auditors are often requested to perform a review engagement. Kapag review engagement, ano yung mga procedures natin? Dalawa. Inquiries, analytical procedures. Letter C for number 60. Number 61, an entity's management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. Its responsibility includes the following except, okay, yung A, B, and C, responsibility ni management yan. Letter D, assessing the risk of material misstatement. Sino ba nag-a-assess? Si auditor. Okay, letter D for number 61. Let's go to number 62. The maximum reliance on auditor may be placed on control procedures in reducing the extent of substantive procedures is determined by, okay, punta ko sa letter B, the design and implementation, subject to sufficient evidence from test of controls that are operating effectively. Okay, letter B for number 62. Again, yung control risk, may effect yan sa detection risk natin. And eventually, meron siyang effect dun sa nature, time, and extent of substantive procedures. 63. Which of the following controls would most likely ensure that all deliveries are invoiced? Deliveries o yung mga shipments natin, kung properly na-invoice ba talaga yan? Punta ka dun sa letter B. The invoicing department supervisor matches pre-numbered shipping documents with entries in the sales journal. Okay? So, titignan mo muna yung shipping documents, alright? Which is yung bill of lading, alright? So, tingnan natin. And then, i-trace mo yun kung na-record ba siya talaga. Saan ka nagre-record ng mga sales? Sa sales journal. Debit AR, credit sales. So, letter B for number 63. Okay? So, when you say invoiced, ibig sabihin na bill natin si customer. Pag binil mo na si customer, doon ka na may entry, debit AR, credit sales. Number 64, to determine whether the system of internal accounting control operated effectively to minimize errors of failure to invoice a shipment, the auditor would select a sample of transactions from the population represented by, ito marami nagkamali dito. So again, tingnan mo muna kung ano yung objective. Nakalagay, to minimize errors of failure to invoice a shipment. So dalawang documents yan, yung pwede ka mag-start. So pwede ka mag-start either dun sa shipping document natin, yung shipping document, yan yung bill of lading, okay? Or dun sa invoice, sales invoice. So kung saan ka mag-start, ano muna yung titingnan mo? Shipping document or the bill of lading or sa sales invoice. Ang goal natin is to determine or yung failure to invoice a shipment. Start ka muna dun sa shipping document or bill of lading. Bakit, sir? Tingnan mo muna, uy, ito yung certain goods na to, na-ship sa customer yan. I-trace mo ngayon sa sales invoice. Okay? Properly na-invoice ba yung shipment na yan. Okay? Kaya sagot mo dyan sa number 64 is letter D. The bill of lading or the shipping document. Ngayon, iba naman yung objective mo kapag mag-start ka dito sa sales invoice. Kapag sa sales invoice yung start mo, titignan mo kung yung goods na na-invoice ay na-ship ba talaga sa customer. Okay? So, magkaiba yung objectives yan. For number 64, letter D. 65. Which of the following observations made during a preliminary survey of a department store's disbursement cycle reflects a control strength? When you say disbursement cycle, yan yung cash payments, nagbabayad na tayo. Actually, among the choices, ang related lang sa disbursement ay letter C. The Treasurer's Office prepares checks for suppliers. Letter C for number 65. Okay? So, yan yung para sa theories natin. For auditing practice, ang nilagay ko dito is audit of accounts receivable. Tingnan natin yung mga questions. We have 5 questions. 66, what is the correct balance of AR of customer A? 67, correct balance of AR kay customer E naman. Okay? 68, current balance of AR gross of any allowances. 69, ADA. And number 70, bad debt expense. So, tingnan natin class. Highlight ko na lang kung ano yung mga key items dito. Mga kailangan yung bantayan sa problem. Okay? Let's read the given. You are revisiting the audit working paper presented to you by your staff in line with the audit procedures done in auditing Pinnacle Company's accounts receivable. Okay? Ito yung subsidiary ledger. So, meron tayong customers, 6 customers. Customer A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay? Meron silang mga transactions, yung invoice date, invoice amount, and the balance. Alright? So, yung balance class ng subsidiary ledger, tingin ka sa baba, 1,219,760. So, yun din ilagay natin dun sa AR natin. 1,219,760. Wala naman sinabing balance ng general ledger, so yun na rin ilagay natin. Okay? Now, tingin natin. Let's continue reading. The accounts receivable balances were confirmed with the customers. You have noted the following exceptions. Customer A, balance per reply, 197,000. The invoice dated October 29. Tingin ka class dun sa table natin, ano ba yung October 29? Nakita mo ba yung 84,000? Nakita mo yun? Was erroneously priced at 84 per unit. So, kung 84,000 divided by 84, tama ba class? That is 1,000 units. Okay? The agreed upon price per customer's approved purchase order was 70. So, ang ni-record natin is 84, pero dapat 70. So, ibig sabihin, overstated tayo. 84 minus 70, overstated tayo ng 14 pesos per unit. Ilang units lahat? 1,000. So, 14 times 1,000, that is 14,000. So, babawasan natin yung AR natin ng 14,000. Entry mo dyan, dito yung journal entry, number 1, debit sales, credit AR, you have 14,000. Okay? So, lagyan natin dito, post natin siya, mag-credit AR tayo, 14,000. Yun yung from customer A. Okay? Now, i-adjust na rin natin to class. Yung kay customer A, yung December 6, walang problema yan, 127,000. Yung customer, yung October 29 naman, instead of 84,000, magiging 70,000 na lang yan. Tama ba? Kasi 84,000, sumobra ka ng 14, so 70,000 na lang yan. Kaya 127 plus 70, 197,000 yung total ni customer A. Okay? Actually, yun yata yung tanong dun sa number 66. What is the correct balance of the accounts receivable from customer A? Letter B, sagot mo dyan, 197. Okay, sagutin natin. Number 66, letter B. Okay? Next. Customer B, invoice dated December 30, 2024. Tingin ka class sa taas, ano yung December 30, 2024? Nakita mo ba yung 42,000? Nakita mo yan? Okay, it was for a sale made for the same date. An additional clause in the sales agreement is the right of customer B to return 20% of the invoice price, which represents the portion of the sale where there is no transfer of ownership yet. The company is expected to honor this agreement. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Yung 20% daw ng invoice price, basically hindi pa sale yan. Okay, so how much yung 20%? Compute natin. 42,000 times 20%, okay, you have 8,400. So bawasan natin yung sales. Journal entry number 2, debit sales, credit AR, 8,400. Kasi hindi pa considered as sales yan. So, lagay mo dito, 8,400, yan yung kay customer B. So, adjust na rin natin yung subsidiary ledger natin. Si customer B, meron siyang tatlong transactions. Yung first, yung December 30, 42,000. 42,000 minus 84, dun ko nakuha yung 33,600. Okay? 42,000 minus 84, ayun, 33,600. And then, yung September 27, wala tayong issue dyan. Yung August 20, wala rin tayong issue dyan. So, ang total niyan kay customer B is 117,120. Alright? Let's go to customer E. The difference was due to the invoice dated December 30. Tingin ka dun sa subsidiary ledger natin. Nakita mo ba class yung December 30? Yun yung 40,000. Okay? Goods have not yet been received by customer C as of December 31, terms of sale, FOB shipping point. Okay? So, goods have not yet been received by customer C. Ni-record na natin kasi nasa SL natin eh. Pero hindi pa nare-receive ni C. FOB shipping point. So pag shinip mo na, AR na natin yan or sales na natin yon. So tama lang na ni-record na natin to. Okay? So kay customer C, wala tayong issue dyan. So go to customer D, credit memo for customer returns for damaged goods worth 18,840 related to the invoice dated November 17 was recorded in January of the following year. O mali, dapat ngayon pala, ngayong year, i-record na natin siya. Okay, so let's do journal entry for customer D, debit sales returns, credit accounts receivable, 18,840. Okay, post natin dito sa AR natin, 18,840. Ito yung kay customer D. Alright? Sige, so kaya ang ginawa ko dito class, kay customer, o kay customer C. Alright, so 40,000, 80,000, 63,600. Walang issue kay customer C. Tama? Kay customer D naman class, yung 138,840 nung November 17. Okay, nakalagay dyan, 138,840. Bawasan mo ng 18,840. O, kaya ako nakuha yung 120,000. Yung next item, 132, walang problema dyan. Yung next natin is 74,400, wala rin problema. Okay? Let's go to customer E. Ito, medyo tricky yung customer E na yan. Invoice dated December 10 was the sales price of 2,500 units of merchandise delivered to customer E on the same date on consignment basis. Tama ba class? Kapag kinonsign natin, tayo si consignor, si customer E naman, siya si consignee. Okay? And kapag consignment, sa atin pa rin yan. Goods pa rin natin siya. Inventory pa rin natin. As of December 31, per customer E's reply, 500 units still remained on hand. The consignment agreement provides customer E a commission of 20% based on sales, which is netted from the remittance to Pinnacle. So, anong nangyari dyan, sir? Tama ba, class? Tingin ka dun sa subsidiary ledger natin. Si customer E, meron siyang 250,000. Ibig sabihin, nag-record na tayo agad ng AR for 250,000. How much ba dapat talaga yung AR natin from customer E, which is the consignee? Okay? So, ganito yung class. Tama ba 2,500 yung pinadala natin kay customer E? Sabi dyan, yung 500 daw on hand. Okay? So, kung 500 ay on hand, ibig sabihin, 2,500 minus 500, that is 2,000, yun yung sold natin. Yun yung nabenta na ni customer E, yung consignee. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung iyan yung nabenta, 2,000 units, iyan lang yung basis ng accounts receivable natin. How much ba yung per unit? Sabi dyan, kung ang ni-record ni kay customer E is 250,000, 250,000, ilang units yun? 2,500. So, 250,000 divided by 2,500, 100 pesos per unit. Okay? So, ang gagawin ko dyan, meron tayong 2,000 units na nabenta times 100. Ibig sabihin, yung AR nating class should be 200,000 lang. So, ulitin ko. Ang kinonsign natin is 2,500. 500 daw yung on hand. So, ibig sabihin, 2,000 yung nabenta. 2,000 times 100 pesos per unit. Saan mo nakuha yung 100 pesos per unit, sir? 250,000 yung total AR for 2,500 units. Dinivide ko, nakuha ko yung 100. So, yung 200,000, iyan lang dapat yung AR natin. Okay? How much yung nirecord natin na AR? Doon sa subsidiary ledger, 250. O, bawasan natin. Bawasan natin ng 50,000. Okay? So, ang gagawin ko dyan, journal entry number 4, debit sales, okay, credit AR, 50,000. Okay, after this entry, 250,000 minus 50,000, 200,000 na lang yung AR natin from customer E, our consignee. Okay, what else? The consignment agreement provides customer E a commission of 20% based on sales, which is netted from the remittance to Pinnacle. May commission, ibabawas daw ni consignee yan. How much yung nabenta? 200,000. How much yung commission? 20% or 40,000. So yung 40,000, ibabawas mo rin yan sa AR. Okay, gagawin natin. Since tayo si consignor, debit commission expense, okay, credit AR, 40,000. So, ang total credit sa AR, isang 50, isang 40. So, i-post natin dito. Meron tayong 50,000, okay, from customer E, and isa pang 40,000 also for customer E. Okay? So, kaya class dito, kay customer E, yung nakalagay sa SL natin, 250,000 originally. And nag-minus ka ng 50, nag-minus ka ng 40. 250,000 minus 50, that's 200, minus 40, that's 160. Kaya nakuha natin dyan, 160,000. Kaya ang sagot mo dyan sa number 67, what is the correct balance of the AR from customer E? Letter B, sagot mo dyan, 160,000. Okay? Sige, so tapusin natin. F, no reply. Customer F is under liquidation and the amount receivable from the company is deemed definitely uncollectible. I-write off na natin yan. So for number 5, journal entry, debit ADA, credit AR. How much ulit? It's kay customer F, tingin ka dun sa subsidiary ledger natin, yung total niya is 104,400. Okay, post natin yan. So for AR, mag-credit tayo na 104,400. Ito si customer F. Siyempre yung ADA natin, mag-debit tayo 104,400. Alright? Sige. So, let's continue reading. The balance of ADA at the beginning of the year, 52,500. So, lagay natin dito, 52,500. Next, during the year, the company wrote off 44,200 receivables. So, pag nag-write off ka, mag-44,200, debit tayo. And then, recovered 24,800. Pag nag-recover ka, tataas yung ADA mo, 24,800 from the previously written off accounts. Okay, so the company's policy with regard to uncollectible accounts are summarized below. So, i-compute mo natin, class, yung ending balance of our AR. Okay, so tingnan natin, 1,219,760. By the way, class, yung pag-write off natin ng 44,200, okay, actually reflected na dito yan, nakabawas na dyan yan. Kasi ang given sa atin na receivables, ending balances. So, na-write off mo na yan, okay? Hindi mo na kailangan mag-credit pa ng 44,200 dito because naibawas na yan dito, okay? Sige, so, beginning 1,219,760, i-minus natin lahat na nasa credit, minus 14,000, minus 8,400, minus 18,840, minus 50,000, minus 40,000, minus 104,400. Ending balance of AR natin is 984,120. Alright? So, dapat, class, yun din yung balance nung SL natin. So, i-compute natin. 197,000 si customer A, si customer B, 117,120. Okay? Si customer C, 183,600. Customer D, 326,400. Customer E, 160,000. Sige nga, class, add natin lahat yan. 197,000, yung mga nakabox, ha. Plus natin yung 117,120. Plus natin yung 183,600. Plus natin yung 326,400. And the last one is 160,000. Total niyang, class, is 984,120. So, total na subsidiary ledger natin, 984,120, which is the same as our general ledger. Final answer natin, class, for 68. What is the balance of AR gross of any allowances? Letter D, 984,120. Okay, doon naman tayo sa ADA. Siyempre, gagamit tayo ng aging schedule natin. So, inisa-isa ko na, class, dito, yung per invoice, per customer natin. So, ito yung number of days, ito yung transaction date. Bibilang natin ilang number of days na sa past due. Alright? So, yun yung basis na aging natin. Nilagay ko dito, per AR. So, dapat, class, ito yung mga makuha mong total. Okay? 0 to 30. Ito siya. 127,000 plus 33,600 plus 40,000 plus 80,000 plus 160,000. Total ng 0 to 30 days natin is 440,600. Multiply mo sa 1% kasi nakalagay dyan, percentage of collectibility. Kung 99% mako-collect, 1% yung uncollectible. 31 to 60 days, ito naman siya. Meron kang 63,600 and meron kang 120,000. Okay? So, dalawa yan. So, makukuha mo dyan is 183, yung 31 to 60 days natin ay dalawa. Yes, tama. So, isang 63,600 at isang 120,000. Yung 61 to 90 naman, meron tayong 70,000 and then meron tayong isang 132,000. Total is 202,000. Yung 91 to 120 days naman, I think isa lang siya. Ito lang siya. 30,000. Okay? So, ito siya. 30,000. And last one, yung more than 120. Nasaan siya? Ito siya. More than 120. 53,520. And 74,400. Total natin dyan is 127,920. Multiply mo lang siya sa percentage of uncollectibility. Makukuha mo, class, ito. Total is 85,138. And we know, yung 85,138, kapag nag-aging ka, yan yung balance ng ending balance of our ADA. Okay? Solve for X. Makukuha mo dyan yung budget expense natin. So, budget expense, compute natin. 85,138 plus 104,400 plus 44,200. Okay? Minus natin yung 52,500 minus yung 24,800. Makukuha mo dyan, class, 156,438. So, yung budget expense, 156,438. Ang entry mo dyan, lagyan natin dito. Entry number 6. Ito na lang, number 6. Debit budget expense, credit ADA, okay, 156,438. Alright. So number 69, what is the balance of allowance for doubtful accounts? 156,438. Okay? O yung yung balance ng doubtful accounts natin, 85,138. Okay? 85,138. Based on our aging schedule, that is letter A. And then, what is the correct budget expense? 156,438. Entry natin, debit expense, credit ADA. Letter D, 156,438. Okay, so that's it for auditing first pre-boards.